would only tell this. I would say you should just learn to take a no and come back to him on another day. Better your solution, better your pitch.
True.
I should be engaged with you.
So how did you actually end up in sales? Like, I mean, I think people would find that insightful, right?
I'm going to be very honest here. I'm going to directly jump into that.
I'm not obliged to do that.
Yeah.
Like I can quit today because I'm not interested anymore.
I've seen a lot of emails, like people threatening us with lawsuit. People,
Yeah, that's the most recent one.
Automation for me works more on the top of the funnel, whereas when you're selling a product that's worth between $50,000 to $200,000, not much automation comes for me because there's a lot of human element here.
I mean, definitely. If someone's giving you something, the least you could do is listen him out, right? Hi guys, welcome to our podcast, episode 2. We have a bunch of sales guys with us. So, to start things off, let's introduce these people here. This is Prasanth, who is into sales for a while, and Naresh is my co-founder, and Gaurav, who's into tech sales very recently. So, why don't you start, like Prasanth, why don't you start how your sales journey has been? Over the period of years, you've been selling a lot of different stuff. So,
Thanks, Tarang. Thank you for the quick introduction. I'll have a small brief rather than take you through my entire journey. I started working in 2017. I started my career in sales. Very traditional guy. Started out by doing the retail sales across Bangalore, across the south. Sold every kind of product that I could possibly come across. Pulses, sugar. So I'm from a hardcore sales guy. I've come a long way, and I'm sitting with you guys, agency folks, today, and I work for an agency myself. So my sales experience has been more of a ride than less of a I would say less of a work experience, more of a ride for me, because sales is very hard, and people, I don't know, Naresh can add value to it, even Gaurav can add more light to it in terms of their own experiences, but it was more of a ride for me, less of an experience.
okay. So, what about you? Like, where did you start?
So see, my journey, I was an engineer, but I'm a mechanical engineer. But as soon as I got into engineering, I knew I can't build cars or design cars. So I switched into the next easiest thing, sales. Right. So I got into sales, selling everything from industrial components to buildings to solar. And I was a very traditional sales guy. I used to go to industrial areas, speak with contractors, find out who needs a requirement, go on my bike around industrial areas, etc. And then after doing this for a certain point, I realized, oh fuck, there's automation, right? Let me try to automate a few things. Got into email and LinkedIn automation, and then realized, okay, let me start an agency. Now, both of us started the agency, and we're selling our services now. So that's been my experience.
Okay. And what about you? I know you're not a sales guy technically, but how you are?
Yes, I am very new to sales. I'm a computer science graduate myself, and there's one thing that my friend told me. It was all road lead to sales, and so here I am. So at this moment, it's a very weird journey, because I started off in growth and growth hacking and working more on the product side, and now I'm selling SaaS to lawyers. So seeing the topsy-turvy career that I have, but at the end of the day, what really caught my eye and what I'm really enjoying is just convincing people to come on calls and getting money out of them. So that's that's exactly
it boils down to getting money.
That's what everyone loves here. So yes, that's about me.
Yeah, I mean, so I wanted to ask you, like, you started off in FMCG, right?
Right.
Is FMCG, are still people doing the same thing, like people going on road?
Yes, largely if you see the brick and mortar style of shop, that's your go-to nearby store, is not something which is going away in the market. Even today, if you see any bigger brand, They are like an ITC or any FMCG brand, even a Himalaya where I worked for in the past. Their distribution is strong because they have penetrated through the market through these brick and mortar stores. And these brick and mortar stores operate still in the old school way. You need to go visit him. You need to build on your relationship, because today the market is very, very, very.
Yeah, you'll be like, I
messed
don't
up.
want you, fuck you. Like,
Yeah, I don't want you. There's already discounts, there's DMarts, there's online, there's e-commerce and everything. But still the market for every brand is, in terms of sheer volume, is there in the brick and mortar store. And I completely agree with what Gaurav went on and is currently involved in sales. At any point in life, you're going to sell yourself. Like, see, I'm telling about my sales on this very
Yeah.
podcast, right?
Yeah.
If it's an interview, I'm selling myself. If it's a relationship, I'm selling my abilities to be in a relationship. So this thought kicked off to me when I did my MBA, and I've been very clear that yeah, sales is my front, and I've been going in that direction.
nice.
That's nice.
But see, like a question I have for you is, there are very different approaches to sales, right?
Correct.
Like they're like cold callings, and I mean, it still works. I'm not saying any method is different. I mean, whatever works for you works.
Yeah.
So, but there is a certain type of method that you use, right? Like,
Correct.
why don't you explain a bit about what you do, like with the.
So basically, when I started my journey, I started with cold call and cold approaches. Although it's a very good channel and a medium, but it's not scalable, because building an army of cold callers is very hard, but building an army of AI is very easy, right? So I approach sales in a very hybrid way. I think there needs to be a human element in it and automation. Combined with both of them is what will give you good success. For example, what I do currently for my clients or internal sales is very simple. I go with an ABM approach, account-based marketing approach, wherein first I make a list of companies that are relevant to my target segment, figure out what GTM is it, whether it's India or whether it's US, then find decision makers in these companies. The decision makers could be in a smaller company, it's the founder or anyone else. In the larger company, it could be head of sales. And once I make this list, I will start emailing them. I will start sending them LinkedIn connection requests. And after they're warm to a certain extent, I'll call them. Like what happened with the cold call that you made, Prasanth,
Right.
the other day. So the lead was warmed up, right, over a period of a year,
yeah.
and then it just closed in a day. So hybrid approach is always the best, because if he wouldn't have called the lead, it wouldn't have closed. But if he wouldn't have warmed up, it would have still closed, right? So
Yeah.
a hybrid approach is what I believe in. Not fully tech, not fully human driven as well.
What about you, dude? Like, what do you do? Like,
Well,
is it something very similar to what he does?
It is very similar to what he does, but automation for me works more on the top of the funnel. Whereas when you're selling a product that's worth between $50,000 to $200,000, not much automation comes for me, because there's a lot of human element here. It's
Yeah, I mean,
and
it's
that-
easier. It's not that easy to spend that much
Correct.
money on some email.
Yeah, and not just that. There's no one's gonna unless there's a human layer on top. I believe no one's going to purchase something that's really expensive, especially when it involves decision makers in an organization, especially when CFOs and head of legal and head of sales and the co-founders are not ready to spend so much of money if they don't see who you're talking to in the first place. So traditional sales is very important. Especially something that I do is pick up my phone and offer them a cup of coffee, saying that, hey, why don't we catch up at a Starbucks or something better, in fact, or offer them.
What's better, dude? Like what? In
I
India?
don't know. What's better would probably be alcohol and dinner. So take them to an ITC, make them feel special.
Okay.
And that's something that's really important, because creating a relationship, especially in sales, is for me the most important thing, because that's how a sale moves forward. We traditionally go back to the people we purchase from if we like the experience of purchase, and at the same time the post sale process as well, where you have you're treating your customer correct, so that way you branch out and they talk to other folks and say, hey, I'm having a fantastic experience with let's say with you guys, because you're doing a fantastic job here. So you branch out, get referrals out there as well. So I believe, then again, it's relationship building and then just taking it forward from there.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, we are talking about different types of, different methods for selling. But what about you, dude? Like, I know you still go after like referrals and.
Yes. Primarily, you put a face to yourself, even if it's a cold call, even if it's a virtual meeting. The way people look at you changes, and you build a certain amount of confidence in the person buying your service or a product. And as sales, we only don't bring the revenue in, we make sure the client is dealt with well. When I say that, client servicing is very, very important. Be it even my traditional sales, what happens was, I used to go to a shop, I used to talk to him, I used to understand his tenacity. What time of the day works for him best, for him to engage with me. If I go and talk to him at 9 in the morning, he's going to shout at me. That's when he gets most of his business.
Yeah.
That's his peak during the day, at least in the morning, first half of the day. So, and then moving to what he said, like, a mix of both traditional plus new age tools is going to help you save a lot of time. And I will vouch what Gaurav said. Top of the funnel automation works. As the funnel grows down and narrower, you need to be more traditional and old school. At least that's what is working for me through my experience, through my journey so far. So I would say I would still go by building relationship, your personal equity, which converts to a sale.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, some of almost everyone's agreeing with everyone. It's not fun.
No, so it's simple, dude. See, I go with a hybrid approach and a numbers game approach. He goes mostly with referrals, and he goes mostly with one-on-one thing. So although we are agreeing what is right, but our core principles that people are following is different.
Basically what you're saying, it all boils down to the salesman, what works for him.
Yeah, what works for him. Everyone can't, like all animals can't climb the tree, right? So it's something like that.
Yeah, I mean, as long as a business owner myself, if you're getting in money, I don't care what you're doing to get that money. Okay,
exactly.
Right.
So whatever works for you, and it depends if on the ticket size and the GTM as well. Right. For example, if you're an Indian guy, cold calling to the US market is going to be very hard.
Yeah.
Right. Because there's a bias with people.
Unless you can pull off a fake accent.
Yeah. Unless you can have your accent trained. Right. So the better way, if people were to come to me and say, okay, help me crack US market, I would then create, things like pseudo accounts, warm them up a bit, and then pass it on to my founder or a co-founder. So that is easing them into accepting a person as an expert rather than you just cold calling directly.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So it depends. The GTM depends on the GTM. The approach depends on GTM. So I feel rather we should focus on what GTM you're selling, what product you're selling, what GTM, what is your USP, and what resonates with them. I think that's what we need to figure out.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I kind of understand that. One thing I want to ask all three of you guys is, what is the one out there factor that you do like differently in your calls, or be it like cold calls, or like your virtual calls or personal meets, or your hotel nightly ventures or what?
Actually, that's a very good question. So there's something that I do which I think is unique. We need to ask ourselves the question: why do we make cold calls? It is to get one outcome. It is to get them to talk to us. To basically, let's say, as an example, come for a meeting, right? So that's literally what I ask. I'm like, look, hey, you've spoken. Come on a call. If it doesn't work for you, we can amicably part ways. It's as simple as that. So I'm letting the other person say that, hey, listen, this is up to you. Let's get on a call. And then let's see how the outcome goes. If not, we can shake hands and move on.
Okay.
So that is something I feel which is unique according to me, which I do. I make sure I hit the nail, making sure that I get them on a call, because that is literally the outcome of what we are all doing here.
Okay.
One thing I want to share that has worked for me back in the high ticket days was, if you're meeting someone like a CEO or head of a company who's worth millions of dollars and he's well read, gift him a book. He'll always remember you.
Okay.
Yeah, so I used to take, like I've met people from Kurlon, the owners of them. I took a book and he still remembers me for the book, even to date.
Oh,
Like
nice.
if I get in touch with him, he's like, yeah, that's a good book, man. Thanks for suggesting.
Whether he's read it or not,
Yeah,
but he
doesn't
knows
matter.
what
He
book
knows
came with the
He has a
book.
hard version. Like, see, you can give a brochure or whatever, but that's still salesy. A book is something people would not expect, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no door-to-door salesman till my date is ever
Yeah.
come with a book to me, dude. Like, I would probably remember him.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I have another point to add here. This exactly. So there's a book written by I think Robert Cialdini. That's his name, and he talks about how you do a favor and you get a favor in return.
Uh-huh.
So that's the same psychology that Naresh has used here by giving the book and giving something, and then he expects something in return. So the person on the other side is mentally obliged to do something in return. So that's
Yeah, I mean, definitely. If someone's giving you something, the least you could do is listen him out, right?
Absolutely.
And then how good your product or service is, that comes down to that, if you're
Absolutely.
closing it. But at least you got him on the table.
Absolutely. That's the whole point of it.
Yeah, but what about you, dude? What is that one?
For me, what has worked really best is I'm kind of obsessed with following routines, and you guys know it more. Like if I'm asked to follow a set of tasks or a set of procedures, I stick to it, and I kind of got into the groove of it. So I feel for me, timely approaches and repeated follow-ups has worked a lot for me.
Oh, okay.
Stick to it, go meet him, spend time with him. Never has it to be always supposed to be closing, like what Gaurav said. You don't need to, you need to give him that comfort for a person to come and engage with you for a meeting. You don't have to obligate him to buy your services or products. I think that is a very good point what Gaurav made. And here what Naresh did was, if I have to chronologically tell what he did, he put a face. After putting a face, he gave a personal touch in the form of a book or a gift or anything. And that has created a lasting impression. Whether the person engaged his service or not is secondary. Even today, he remembers it. So when he said personal account-based marketing, I think he just has extrapolated these personal gifts to account-based marketing today. I think you were doing that very early in your career, and then now you're doing account-based marketing.
Exactly.
When you're doing an account-based marketing, you understand where he is. You kind of know his persona. Maybe you are in his alumni network, so you're easily aware of what will invoke him.
Okay.
Right. So I feel I can agree. I can take two things from what they said in their own USPs. But my USP would be stick to the routine. Go to the market. Go. Don't go with an expectation of winning everything, but be in the market.
Okay.
Be present. Yeah. That gives a lot of network. That gives a lot of room for you to understand how to push or get a sale done.
Again, I have another pointer to add here. That's another thing that I've read and I follow exactly what Prasanth said. It's about regular follow-ups at the right point of time. Because if you miss a small window, you probably lose $50,000 coming into your bank account. And I don't think anyone would want that. So having hygiene on your CRM, especially if you're in sales, that's something you need to have very importantly. And keep tasks which automate and you know that this is when you're supposed to reach out to this particular prospect or have a repeated follow-ups, because not everyone you call or you speak to is free at that particular point of time. And another thing that I noticed is I've probably cold called from 6 in the morning to 6 in the night, and especially in India, the best time to cold call would be somewhere between 5 to 7, because you will not have someone from HDFC Bank calling you and saying, hello, do you need a credit card at that point of time? So people actually genuinely pick up.
Yeah.
And that's
Who's
a
this
very
guy calling me in the evening?
Who's this guy calling me in the evening, right? They would be like, "Hi, what is this about?" So, and you're done with your meetings. You're like, okay, now probably time to go home. I'm just going to have a cup of coffee before I leave. Pick up the phone, and it's...
So I have one question for all three of you guys. Like, I get he talked about follow-ups and all of that. I'm pretty sure you would have annoyed some people too, right? Like, I mean, it's not always green on the like there'll be times when people would have like, hey, please stop calling me, dude. Like, what? Who the fuck are you? Like, how often does that happen with cold calls?
I have a very, very, very funny story here. I made about 30 cold calls one day and I booked 8 meetings. But my 31st cold call, I was kind of burnt out at that time, and which happens in sales, especially when you continuously call, and you need to keep your mind aligned. So what happened was, I forgot to ask the prospect if it was a good time. That was it. I'm like, hi, this is Gaurav here.
And you just started your pitch.
And it was a follow-up. It wasn't even my pitch. And I'm like, hey, I've spoken to you on Friday. Just wanted to see if we could perhaps connect sometime next week to take this forward. And that the person was absolutely flabbergasted. He was pissed. And don't you have the courtesy to ask me if this is a good time? I'm like, yes, it was absolutely, my bad. I would like to kind of apologize for this, and perhaps we can start from ground zero. And he's like, no, we cannot. I do not want your product. Bye. And I genuinely felt, and this was somewhere where I feel I lost out, because again, as Naresh had mentioned, I went on to tools. I saw that this organization was actually looking to buy, and they were tech forward. So that was a massive hit, I would say.
Yeah, basically, you got greedy, basically.
I got very greedy. I thought, I
like 8 calls. Why not one more?
Why not one more? I don't think I would have to make another cold call the next day anyways. I thought I would just kind of relax and do my follow-ups on my email, but no, I had to. Yeah,
so it is important to know when to stop as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you will get burnt out, making sales calls, going on sales meetings. So for me, my personal worst moment was just walking into his office without a meeting,
Randomly.
So I've got through the gatekeeper, I've got through his assistant, and he's like,
Who are
not
you?
expecting me. Why are you here?
Oh, at least he knew you.
Yeah, he knew me.
This is the first time I've seen a door-to-door salesman, but B2B.
Exactly. He's like, why are you here? How did you get in?
B2B door-to-door salesman. That's fancy.
He sold his way through the fucking gate, dude. Like,
So yeah, fun times. When you are a door-to-door salesman, right? You need to bond with all strata of life, right from watchman to the CEO. You'll have to get your way through that.
okay. Yeah, I mean, I totally get that. I mean, you can't please everyone.
Yeah.
And salesmen are annoying to a certain degree. I mean, you would have to agree, right? Like,
I wouldn't say salesmen are annoying. It's
because you are a salesman.
It's the approach that you have behind the sales. What time are you talking to him? Have you set premise? Is there an expectation that you are having from him or each other? When I say how is the approach, like he walked in right away. Maybe if he was in a bad mood, he would have shouted at him. If he was in a good mood, he was still, I don't know, how well accommodating or receiving. Even though you walked in blank.
No, he got angry, but then he cooled down. He was like, fine, you've come such a long way. Sit for an hour, I'll finish my meetings and come.
So the approach is what largely matters. Because if you are involved in a business, you yourself are selling something to someone. Like Gaurav said, one crucial thing in cold calling, 5 to 7 works for him. Maybe it's the industry for him. 5 to 7 might not work for a retail guy. Right? 5 to 7 is again the evening peak. You go and talk to a retailer at evening peak, no matter how good you are in terms of servicing, in terms of your product, everything, he will not entertain.
Yeah. And also, I believe in retail, he doesn't want to be annoyed on call. He would rather appreciate you in person, right?
That's why being in the market makes a lot of impact.
Yeah.
You understand the retailer's mindset.
Yeah.
You understand what is going on in the market. Who is your competitor? What is he doing differently? It all boils down to that. So, for me, if you ask me, the biggest challenge was to maintain teams as my very first job. I don't know if Gaurav and Naresh had teams in their very first job. I myself am figuring out how to achieve the sale and everything, and I've been given 4 new people and I was asked to train. I know the language, I know the line, but it was really a big challenge for me because I was a very hyper aggressive guy and I used to get angry at people for not following things because I was following to things, and you kind of are responsible for your entire team. And in retail sales, your boss is like, if your guy is not there, you go do it. I don't know. I have given you manpower. I have given you budget.
it's your headache.
Yeah, there is an ops that is entirely enabled for you. Now it is your job. You hire or you do it yourself. Or you have a good connect with your retailer. You don't even have to go to the market.
Huh.
I leave it to you. But I've given you a budget and I've set up everything on the back end in terms of production, in terms of meeting, your primary targets. But if you don't get me secondary, that's on you. So that was my very biggest challenge. And today I do sales, but it is only I am responsible for myself. I don't have a team. I've come a long way from that, but that was the biggest challenge for me, if you ask.
Handling a team of sales.
Handling a team of salespeople. Oh my God. He goes AWOL. You don't know what to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like, I've also worked in such an environment. I mean, not handling teams, but in places where you can go AWOL, basically. So I started my journey in cold calling. Not really cold calling. These were people, I used to work for this company where, Expedia, right?
Yep.
So people used to call to inquire about stuff, and I have to push my sales in there. Get them to book on the call. I don't know why people were calling for inquiry. I don't know, like, why that was. And this was not like Indian people, it was like UK and Irish people. Most of the people I never used to understand, especially Scottish, though gone, like zero, what they're talking about. But yeah, that was like very hard, and I kind of escaped from there after. Like you said, AWOL, right? I went AWOL, like my manager was like very annoying. Then I'm like, fuck this job. I scooted one day.
If you would ask me now, I think I would handle a team better now.
Yeah, obviously, like over the period of time,
what I know what to do, what to be told, how to take a no, how to even convert a no from a yes, and within a team, I'm saying, within a team.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, addressing your previous question, I would say only salespeople like salespeople.
Yeah.
Nobody else likes salespeople. Because so it's like I go to events, and pretty much my organization is at every event, so people know about us. But then again, it's you face a lot of cold shoulder because they know you're trying to be the.
You're a sales guy.
Yeah, I'm a sales guy.
They see you dressed only.
They see you dressed, I'm like, oh my,
Yeah, this
that's
guy-
a shot. He gets, so he's gonna come and bite. But then again, I go bite everyone. So that's how it is.
I mean, there is a certain aspect of shamelessness involved in it, right?
Absolutely.
Like, you can't be very
I
reserved.
wouldn't call it shamelessness.
It is like,
We should not give out such words out there. I would only tell this. I would say you should just learn to take a no and come back to him on another day. Better your solution. Better your pitch.
True.
I should be engaged with you. Learn to take a no. Take a step back and go back to him tomorrow or another day with better things to sell, better things to talk to. Not even sell. I'm sure he's going to listen to you.
No, I don't think a salesperson is shameless. He just needs to be persistent.
yeah.
And that's very hard for a lot of people. To do the same thing over and over again, even though there's no tangible result, that's challenging.
Yeah, definitely. Because I tried my hand at sales as well, right? And like, it's very hard to get the first closure. Like, the first 2 months, nothing I got. Then I'm like, hey, what is this?
But I disagree with them. I'm shameless AF. I don't care. I'm like, bro, you pay up. The sales cycle relatively for me is roughly between 180 to 500 days. So I have to be shameless and persistent. And of course, as what Prasanth
See,
said,
all
is
that
also-
makes sense, but shameless is also key,
Yeah,
right?
that shameless for me is number one. I mean, like, I'm going to probably put that on my LinkedIn. A shameless seller.
Zero shame.
Yeah, zero shame salesperson.
How to go to 1 to 0 shame.
0 to 1 shameless, yeah, without shame. That's the title of my biography now.
Very hard, dude. Like, I totally agree with Gaurav on this. Like, there is a certain aspect of shamelessness involved because sometimes like, you feel that guy needs your service, but whether in
Hard cookie to crack, huh?
Yeah.
That's the whole thing.
yeah, so we were like, hey, if I give him the service, he's like sorted in his life. You try to sell him, he's like, no man, I don't want. Or some soft no he gives, gone. No, that guy is.
I agree. So there are two things, right? One is push selling and one is consultative selling. So you need to know what works when. And I believe I am a consultative seller. I really understand what are the needs, what are the pain points. Look, I would love to know what you're looking for. Once I get to know, I'm being very shameless and say, listen, now you buy. So now we have all of this.
Yeah.
This will help you. Again, if whoever is giving you
If
the
you don't buy,
budgets,
you're like stupid.
yeah, you don't buy, then your ROI, whatever it is, you hire more people.
Yeah, world will end.
I mean, you either throw tech at a problem or throw people at a problem. We are at a stage where companies are working more leaner and start throwing tech at a problem. Now, if you want to be that organization and throw people at the problem, then it's up to you.
Yeah, basically, there's a whole lot of fear mongering happening here.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You're missing out, you know.
Yeah. So that's exactly. We even have a ROI calculator saying that, boss, you don't have a tool for this. This is how much money you will lose. And that's kind of what organizations are looking for these days. So that's very important.
Maybe we should change our ROI calculator to that, bro. Like, because our ROI calculator now is basically you spend X amount of money, you'll make 10x. That is what we are selling.
No, it's
So,
about what you're losing.
yeah,
That is
maybe
more
you should change
important.
our ROI calculator. If you don't spend X amount of money,
that makes sense.
you're losing
Good
10x.
impact.
Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe we should change that.
We have to change that. Yeah.
I think what Gaurav said was very valid in terms of are the organizations building tools or throwing people at the problem? I have been in such situations. I don't want to call names. I don't want to call organizations here. But
Tell
organizations
dude, we'll
All
make it.
right.
Go for it. Make it viral. Anyway, you're not going back to that job. Tell them which
So
company.
organizations, and we have deliberated a lot on that. Why do you want to throw yourself in such an organization when people are not ready to build tools and systems in place to reduce your overall job and improve your own self? Be efficient in your sale.
Correct.
You guys have spoken a lot on that, right?
Yeah.
Why do you associate with an organization which is not ready to spend on systems and tools?
What I believe is, like, when scaling an organization, you have to put the salesman in as less shameful position as possible. Okay, so make the AI or the automation get most of the shame, and put the salesperson in less shame, so there's no attrition.
You know, actually that helps.
Scaling a sales team, if you force him and shove him to the customer, he either he's going to be the best salesman in the world or he's going to leave you. Either of this is going to happen, right?
Absolutely.
So I feel when you're head of sales or you're heading a sales team, try to take the brunt of it, because you are battle won, right? So we are all battle won now.
Yeah.
So make the person on the lower part of the hierarchy get less shame, so that he will be ready for the battle.
Yeah, see, I also do that. I blame automation so much, you know, like whenever like I get even though I would have reached out to him personally, he comes back to me, I will call, hey, it was not me, it was AI. The guy is so shocked, dude. He's like, oh, that was AI. Oh, okay. I thought it was you. I'm like, no, we have built some bad
I
system.
think there's a good hook. You tell AI is doing it and he wants to know why are you doing it through an AI.
Yeah, and I'm like, see, bro, like how I reached out to you, how you're sitting on the call. You know,
I mean,
other people come sit on your call.
It's great. See, one thing is it's great that the companies that you deal with on a regular basis understand tech in general. The problem here is I talk to lawyers who still use tools made in 1993. The whole reason they're doing law is because they don't want to do math or learn anything about computers.
But now they're doing math.
now they have to do. There are lawyers who are programming now.
What?
So yeah,
Crazy.
absolutely. Now, I mean, again, when you have a product that's, you know, a tech product that's for lawyers, you naturally need a lawyer in the product team.
Yeah, that's true.
So similarly, I would say selling, especially to lawyers, coming from the last 1.5 years spent selling to lawyers, the whole idea, it's about nurture and care. And then I cannot blame AI here, because that person is like, oh, AI ye karta hai. I'm like, well, yes. So yeah, that's my.
Okay. But yeah, like even though you're not using, you can, you know.
And I would like to add one more point here. Commodity as a sale is a different experience. Service as a sale is a very different experience. Commodity, I can show you. See, look at this car. This is what you're going to buy, sir.
Yeah.
This is how the car is going to make you feel. Probably I will take you out for a spin. I'll let you experience the air ventilated seats. But if I am talking service to you, I need to be able to understand your whole pain point. Right? Like now I am an agency, I talk to a brand. Why a brand should associate with me? How can I extrapolate the brand's presence to the consumer local audience? in terms of hyperlocal mandates or hyperlocal communication or whatever you want to call TVC, DVC, anything. So service selling is so more thought is what I feel. Commodity as a selling is a little mundane because commodity is any day needed by anyone, right? Like a soap, toothbrush, paste is a daily commodity. You don't need to do anything hard. You don't मतलब ज़्यादा दिमाग लगाने का नहीं है उसमें कुछ.
But one thing is you won't need a shampoo though. Yeah.
I wouldn't need a shampoo. Like I said, among the list of things that I sold, shampoo was one, and I was directly selling to a retailer. Sir, this is anti-hair fall shampoo, and I don't have hair.
He's like, what anti-hair fall? Where is it?
I said, I don't use it, but the company is a very good one. And
Like, I wish I had this before.
I knew this when I was 20.
I'm not the user of the product, but I'm just selling it.
so it was fun times in sales. So I've sold hydroponic vegetables, pulses, sugar, oil, onion to anything in the space of FMCG. And today I'm just servicing for brands. I'm a brand solutions guy for any brand that is in the market out there across categories. So the learning is incredible, I would say.
But what do you
From
like?
commodity sales to
Do you
service
like
as well.
service or the commodity?
I would say I like sales. I wouldn't say either a commodity or a service.
Would you go back to selling, toothbrush?
At a much higher capacity, yes.
Yeah, that's again coming to B2B, right? Like,
I don't have a challenge of being in any particular market, B2C, D2C, or even if it is selling to governments, I don't have a problem. Selling predominantly is my forte. I'm going to stick to that.
okay. But yeah, like, what about you? Would you go back to?
I would not go back. I mean, I was working in the construction sector. Very good money there. Very bad people. So no, I would not go. See, for me, people matter more than whatever else. Like it could be money, because you learn a lot from people, right? So we are like. The fact that we are all here is because of our learning,
Right.
And because I took a different step in my life. So if I were to go deeper into construction, you know how people are in construction. They have a lot of money. They have that has passed down from generations, and they're just wealthy in money, not in head. So that's
That's definitely true. Like when you're doing like tech, service, it definitely matters who you're selling to.
Correct.
Because now the people we are talking to on a day-to-day basis,
Are smart people.
are really smart people. They're building some nice product, or they're offering some bad service, or they have a good brand, or so stuff like that, right? Like, imagine you go talk to one guy, he doesn't know jack shit. He's like, why I need all that? You go, man.
I'm sure when people have this problem,
Yeah.
why should I do this? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So who your customers are also matters for your mental peace, right?
Yeah.
Which sector do they belong to, and do they need the product? All of that. See, because a lot of people ask, okay, sell me this pen, but first you have to ask whether the other person needs the pen, right? And then you sell them. The
Hey,
pen.
that's some scam, bro.
Yeah.
Like that, sell me this pen, no, like fucking Jordan Belfort.
I actually agree with this. I wouldn't be selling you a bra, right? Because you don't wear one.
Yeah.
So it's clearly because you don't need it. So it's
Okay.
it's the same example. If you don't need a pen is a very that's a PG-13 example.
Yeah.
So, but then again,
But I would sell you a bra.
the camera is there. I'm just gonna put my button up right now. then again, look, it's whatever it is. At the end of the day, it's all about understanding the needs and the requirements of what the other person wants. It just makes the sale a lot easier. And coming back to answering both the same question that you threw at them, I would say I wouldn't mind going back. But at the same time, I would like to have restructured the products that I have worked on earlier a lot better, so that I would be able to work on the sales aspect of it as well.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there, because I remember when you were working for different companies, the growth hacking and stuff we were doing, trying to get users. Revenue was never a big part of, the goals, right? The goal was either get more users or get the next funding, how many markets have penetrated. No, making money is like a sidelight there.
Correct, absolutely. I mean, I one of the things I worked closely with one of Naresh's and yours friends called Sumit. So we worked on this thing called Gist, and I was able to get 5,000 downloads under 2 months. And this was only on the Play Store, where we had about close to 1,000 on the App Store as well. So then again, it always hits a roadblock when you work on content, where how are you going to monetize this, right? At the end of the day. So now working on different monetizing models, it again takes so much time. It's always money in the bank is always going beyond day by day. So it's, I would say, then in that case, I'll just stick to sales, man.
So you stick to sales.
Yeah, I'll stick to sales. I think this is what I'm really good. I would say I'm good at. So yeah.
So product sales is what?
Yeah, product sales, SaaS sales. Just sticking to this.
Nice. You carved out a niche for yourself, like.
Yeah, carved out a niche for myself. I mean, I've been. If you look at what I've carved, there's a lot of carvings. I probably built a town out of my carvings over the last few years. But now finally settled in sales, and I think this is something I love doing.
Yeah. So how did you actually end up in sales? Like, I mean, I think people would find that insightful, right?
I'm going to be very honest here. I'm going to directly jump into that. I went on AngelList, like everyone. If anyone disagrees, they're lying. Like everyone, I just went click, apply, and I got lucky. Someone from SpotDraft reached out to me, and well, I got the job. I was the first B2C hire in the organization, and I still am the only B2C hire in the organization, solely because of my understanding of where and what is just required at that particular point.
You sold yourself.
I sold myself, dude. I mean, the next step is adding an hourly rate to my services, you know what I mean? So,
Nightly services, you know.
no, it's only daytime. Daytime perks only.
Not in the US show.
No night calls.
US night shift.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, like, I think, most of them I've seen, like, people are like, once they're into sales, they're like,
No, so one good thing I feel about all of the people here is they have made transitions, right?
Yeah.
And I think that is something people would find insightful. For example, for him, it's been FMCG sales to service or an agency sale. For me, it's been construction to solar to like very high ticket, like very project driven sales to service. For him, it's been non-sales to tech sales.
Yes.
So that's very crazy, right? I feel we should talk more about that. So how did you actually make the transition?
I'm a product of MBA, right? Like, so professors told me, my marketing professor used to like the fact that I am a good guy and I can deal with sales. So even when I was talking to my peers or my seniors or my colleagues, they said stick to sales. That's where you can make some mark for yourself. And when I got into it, the rigor and the team and everything was very overwhelming at that point for me. So I kind of was scared. And again, numbers being your prime expectation in sales, growth is having numbers in it, but sales as a number expectation is huge. I think all of us can agree.
Yeah.
Growth as a number expectation is always there. Yes, we wanted to grow 1x to 10x. But if I don't get the 10x of sales, the entire system collapses.
Absolutely.
You know, either you get too much pressure or you get micromanaged. So I was in the midst of that, and I've changed a lot of jobs. You guys know that.
Yeah.
You basically, his career path is basically next job what he got that he'll sell.
But why I'm asking this question specifically is a lot of people are in FMCG sales because that's what they got out of MBA or college, right? But they would want to get into something. It could be a SaaS or tech sales or a service.
So for me the transition,
work-life balance, right?
Yeah.
Like you know how FMCG sales is. You need to be in the field for
Right,
like
right,
the whole day.
right,
Now
right.
you're sitting in your house making calls and closing
Right.
$1 million deals. So how did you actually make the transition? What is your advice for people?
I would say when I started my career in sales, I kind of realized that my interest also lies in the area of branding things. You know, I've done a lot of BTL activations. I've done nothing in content or ATL. I've done a lot of BTL activation directly because I was in the market. Right? How do I uptick my sales in this particular retail segment or in the store or a new product launch? Right? So I was very much focused on how these products are being marketed for us to sell. I used to have a problem with the brand team. Arey, tum can't do, sorry, mind the language, but you have a certain strategy. Do you know the pain points of the market? Right? Like, तुम एक strategy बना के तुम बोल दिया और तुम पूरा product भी develop कर दिया और tons and tons of products is lying in the CFA for me to sell. Do you understand the pulse of the market? No. So there is where I started getting involved in brand, and that's where I feel like my transition also is where I am today. Okay. Today I am in a brand solutioning area. So I understand the pain points of brands, and that's where I transition. So I had a certain expectation, I would say, even when I was in sales.
So it's like
that's what helped me to transition. I would largely say.
That's nice, interesting.
And I used to look into people who were IIMs and who did the same job as me, but they were in brand and they were getting paid more. I got to make that statement here. Yes, they did the same job.
Yeah,
they're getting paid more. Yes, he has his own acumen. He has his own intelligence. That's why he's an IIM grad and I am not. But I am fundamentally doing the job what he is doing. There's no difference.
Did you do a better job in terms of numbers?
In terms of numbers, yes. Analytically, those people were better. In terms of getting sheer volume of sales, I was better.
yeah. I mean, it is. The bias is also always there, right? Like, hey, I'll get a IM dude. Like my, sales is sorted.
That is very biased. I think you made a good statement. That's very biased. Get an IM guy, he'll make your life easier. No.
Sometimes Kota's coffee is better than Starbucks. Okay.
He just called you Kota's coffee, bro.
as long as I'm accepted in the market.
As long as you're hitting your numbers, I mean, who cares?
Yeah. It's Starbucks or not. Yeah, cheers on that. Starbucks or
Kotas.
As long as numbers are met and everyone's getting their share of, revenue, you sorted.
So I have a question for the both of you. How do you ensure that your top of the funnel is filled? See, because you work in a space wherein, both of you actually work in a space wherein you have to handle end to end, right? From top of the funnel to closing, right? How do you ensure the whole, I mean, if you can explain how your funnel is structured, start to finish, how do you ensure each part of the funnel is functioning? That'll be great. So we can start with you for the agency approach, and we can start with him for the sales, tech sales or SaaS approach, so that people have insights on both of them, because both the process, I believe, is very different.
Yep.
So I'll quickly start with the current job I am doing. We have certain strengths as an agency. When I say strengths, the categories that we have worked with. So there is relevancy for any new brand in that category also in my approach, right? So there I already have made inroads, you can say, in a sort of way. So there my funnel is there, let's say 5 categories. Automobile, healthcare, and FMCG and F&B. So what happens is, outside of these categories, what are the other focus categories that I as a service provider can add value? Let's say recently I closed an alcohol brand. That was a new category. And I brought a two-wheeler brand to my agency. That was a new category. So making inroads in a new category is going to be challenging. I spoke to probably 25 brands and got one automobile brand. So my funnel in a newer category is higher. To the category that I am already present will be little less, because I have case studies to share. I'll say, boss, look at my work here.
So, but how many people are you talking to generally in one brand?
In one brand. See, for a company like ITC, even inside one brand, there are multiple stakeholders.
Yeah.
A digital stakeholder is someone, and a brand equity stakeholder.
No, let's take the example of the automobile thing, right? Like you said, like you have 25 in the top of your funnel, like 25 brands.
Yeah.
And how many people are you talking to in each?
So in each brand, I will at least talk to 5 people or more.
Okay.
Because he might not be the most relevant guy for me. I might reach out to head of marketing. He'll say there's a brand director who decides things. You'll have to have a word with him first. Then it will come to me for next steps. So a minimum of 5 people across brands is what I usually target. It differs. Sometimes the first person is only the relevant guy. Sometimes the 5th person is also still not the relevant guy. And we are just pushed around to each person, each designation around. But I'm caught in that loop also. No, that's the right person.
Why don't you talk to
them? Why don't you talk to them? I think she should be in a better position to, answer to your
She'll be
queries.
like, oh, you talk to them.
Yeah. And obviously, them being internal people, they won't give out what is their stance on the entire proposition I'm giving. But still, somewhere they would want to keep me engaged because if not, now I'm so relevant to them, maybe tactically speaking, in the next festival season or any end of season sale, I might be relevant to them. So just to keep me in the form of engagement, they'll be just pushing me around. I'll have to realize that also. And I'll also have to realize how much of it is window shopping. Because today, you can call yourself with your IP and your property. You just add a T or an M to it and it becomes yours.
Yeah.
Right? So are they really shopping for ideas from you, or are they really interested to engage with you? So in the midst of all of this, you will need to make sure your numbers are being met. So in a new category, I speak to at least 20-25 brands, and in each brand, a bare minimum of 5 spots, unless they are very lean and the hierarchy is very neat and clean. So certain brands, I don't have to talk to any person except from the brand manager, including paperwork, including documentation, including payment releases, everything will be the singular spot.
So it basically depends on how the
organizations matter a lot, but largely 5 spots I am ready to deal with. If it is going beyond 5, I take a step back, look at my approach.
So maybe they don't have the budget, or they
don't have the budget, or my approach itself is wrong. I've spoken to 20 companies and 5 people, and not one is also landing. What am I doing? No.
Yeah, maybe you're selling the wrong.
Maybe my selling is itself wrong. Or the industry is not looking for things like that largely. That is also something we realize. So seasonality is something we should understand from category point of view.
Yeah.
When an education brand will sell, when a healthcare industry will have a lean period so that they can work on website revamp or even building their content from scratch, they can't do that in their peak. So if I talk to a healthcare brand saying I will rework on your website, I can do AI, I can implement chatbot for you, he'll be like, no boss, I'm in the peak demand of my season, of my entire year, and you are proposing me this. Even though it's a good proposition, it's wrong for me. He can't take his website down, man. Come on, like it's his peak business. So my funnel is always depending on seasonality, relevancy of work, and the category that I am in.
Yeah, that's actually very interesting because when you are like a service company which is offering services across the board,
yes,
seasonality comes into play a lot. Like
seasonality comes,
like
and
summer ACs and
we do a lot of celebrity management also. Which brand wants which celebrity? Does the celebrity also have affluency towards the brand? Like
Dhoni for Microsoft.
Dhoni for Microsoft, yes. Dhoni for Microsoft. Very good example. Why would Microsoft associate with Dhoni? Yes, Dhoni is a very big star, very popular and everything. But no, a good example would be Dhoni and SBI.
Trusted, reliable.
Trusted, reliable.
Yeah.
And yeah, Desh ka Sehat, whatever, whatnot. So Dhoni can be associated with certain brands only. He cannot be associated with a.
Hey, but there are outliers here, like Vimal.
Chris Gale associating with Vimal.
No, that is Kamala Prasanth. No?
Yeah. You have Sunny Gavaskar also.
No, I remember they got James Bond also. For
Yes, Pierce Brosnan. He wasn't
Pierce
aware.
Brosnan.
He wasn't aware.
They scammed him, dude. They've told him some amazing product. You just do this, and he's got chewing tobacco.
Okay. So you, from what
See,
I
but
understood is,
Rajinikanth and Chris Gale is a very tactical way of association. I'll tell you why. You are premiumizing Rajinikanth in people's minds. From a brand standpoint, that's a very good tactical approach. How effectively that landed, did that convert their audience? Are better people using Rajinikanth now is another story that I don't know.
Yeah.
The brand might do their analysis on
No,
the
I feel, whatever campaigns they're doing, right, all these chewing tobacco thing, So I don't see much impact maybe in the tier 1 cities, but tier 2 cities, maybe people are getting in changing their brands, dude. Like, because Chris Gale is eating that, I'll be like, okay, why not?
That's what I said. Your target audience is not the tier 1, tier 2. Tier 1, tier 2 metros mein nobody uses Rajnikandha, at least I don't use. There's a large set of labor class or working people who might use Rajnikandha, but none of us do use Rajnikandha. So it doesn't matter. For us, it's a spoof or a hilarious thing to see Chris Gale associated with.
But the branding is working, right? Like, I mean, you're sitting and talking about fucking chewing
So the brand has taken people's mind. There's a share of mind that you have captured, and you have premiumized your own audience. Even if your audience is earlierly using Rajnikandha and spitting all over, now looking at Chris Gale and Sunil Gavaskar, they might be a little aware of how they use Rajnikandha.
We need to start colorless gutka now.
So from a brand standpoint, there are a lot of things that they look at in terms of association.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but what about you, dude? Like, how do you do the top
of the funnel? For me, I start off with smart prospecting. I want to understand what are the industries that do not work for me, and I pick those industries that work for me. Then I make a calculated list of the kind of prospects that I would want to reach out to, and I'm very lucky in a way where I have multiple tools that my organization has spent on multiple tools to, for example, ZoomInfo, Lucia, Apollo, or we have all three of them. And a lot of companies, even bigger companies, don't actually offer more tools. So here I have the opportunity to understand what are the organizations that are buying tech products, what are the organizations that are specifically looking for CLMs, because that's the data you have online. So another thing that I actually very interestingly learned was there are a lot of folks, let's say, if you want to know which company is using Salesforce, you naturally look for jobs that are hiring Salesforce developers in organizations. So you actually know, okay, so this company uses Salesforce, and we've recently started some new integration we have with Salesforce. Why don't I reach out to those companies specifically with this message saying that, hey, whatnot, we have, we are tied up with Salesforce or whatnot. So I go extremely deep down. I spend a lot of time. I spend 3 to 4 days on just prospecting the account list that I want to reach out to, and of course get your email IDs, phone numbers, and I usually send out scaled emails to India because I believe hypers don't exactly work based on my experience, of course. So I prefer cold calling mostly in India and send out a scaled email in my campaign. And if none of them work, my last resort would be LinkedIn. And if they accept my invite, I'll start a conversation there. Whereas abroad, if I'm reaching out to someone from Singapore, Australia and New Zealand, because that's my market, I send out a very nice personalized email. I also use this tool called Autobound. So what it does is it basically takes their entire LinkedIn, their history and everything, and it summarizes the key pointers that I can address from their profile. As in, if they're, let's say, if someone's played college cricket, if someone has played, or someone is a marathon runner.
So, for example, I can just give a LinkedIn profile to it, and
yes,
oh, nice.
It's basically an extension. It auto reads the LinkedIn. We can just open it there, or of course, if you're not on LinkedIn, you can just copy paste the link as well. You can even copy paste the email ID, your professional email ID xyz@xyz.com, and then it goes through the company page and also gives you a detailed. It writes an email for you.
Okay.
So, but then again, I prefer not to do that. I take the best pointers because it's summarized, and I use that, reference it, write a hyper personalized email with a very direct CTA saying, and as I've mentioned before, I want them to come on a call and see what we've built, and yeah, that is it. So my journey starts from prospecting, going deep down on LinkedIn and doing a lot of user research, using tools like Lucia, ZoomInfo and Apollo to get the right email addresses and phone numbers of the prospects. Then going on to my first step, a lot of times again, you iterate to see what works for you. Probably you send out an email first, probably you call first, perhaps you even send out a LinkedIn connection first. So I mix and match depending on what I feel is working for me at that point. Because a lot of it is also based on luck. You don't know when someone's going to pick up or not. You don't have the control of it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So that's my entire process. And then once they come on a call, you just take it forward from there. So that's my top of the funnel approach.
Nice. So the way we approach it at Growth Onboard is simple. We have two buckets. One is the clients or the sectors we have dealt with. Okay, so for example, if we have worked with a chatbot, all the chatbot companies that we prospect fall in that bucket. If we work, say, with marketing agencies, that's another bucket. That is the figured ICP ones. The second one is a unfigured ICP, right, where we don't know the sector or the industry. So what we do for the ones we know the sector is we send a very specific copy. We bucket them. Okay, see, we have worked with such and such a chatbot company and we have grown them by 10x. Would you want to get on a call with us? So that's the pitch that goes for them. And for figuring out the ICP, what we do is we run a broad campaign, like spray and pray, literally, right? Hundreds of thousands of emails.
Why?
And then do analysis on that. Which sector is kind of opening our emails higher, or which sector is clicking, which sector is spending more time, which sector is replying, and then double down on that sector.
What tool do you use to get
Smartly.
Smartly?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we use Smartly for our scaling and all campaigns. This is like the top of the funnel, and then the mid of the funnel we have LinkedIn, where we take all this data of people who have engaged on emails and push them to LinkedIn. The reason why we have LinkedIn as a second part of the funnel is because there's a constraint on the number of connection requests we can send. And post that, it's the call. So this is how our funnel is structured.
And of course, I think you're more email centric than call centric. But what has given you more success?
See, to be honest, call is better. I know it. Deep down, all salespeople know.
Yes.
But
bread and butter.
email is convenient. That's it.
It is.
Yeah, because you can write one email and 100 people can easily get the same.
Yeah.
the spray and pray thing.
Yeah.
So I would say it should be a healthy mix. To avoid burnout, you need email. You can't always have sales call, right? or a simple LinkedIn connection.
Unless you're from Byju's, right?
Can we call out brands like that?
We can.
Who are annoying.
Yeah, I mean, see.
It's a personal opinion.
Yeah.
It's a very personal thing. Yeah, right. But I get what you're saying. To avoid burnout, I would not always cold call, because the sheer number of rigor and rejection that you might face on a cold call is more. Email, you have a dashboard, you look at what is working, what is not working, and you don't face rejection on an email. That's what I'm just
I mean, not really. See, we have also faced some of the replies that we have got are so bad. Like we have got schooled. What are you doing? Why are you sending me so many emails? Stuff like that. Where
This
they're
is how you do it. Like an entire summary of
that dude
what is
is
wrong with each line of the copy, dude. Like when you scale emails, you see the most ridiculous kind of shit.
that guy spent at least 15 to 20 minutes to dissect our copy, and he's told us what is wrong in each line.
Wow. I would
Has that helped? Has that helped
you
you?
come on a call to help us better?
He didn't do that, but he was probably annoyed because so usually in email we get the unsubscribe links, right?
Yeah.
So there was this test we were running, we removed we should never send unsubscribe links.
Okay.
So if they want to unsubscribe, they have to reply to us.
Yes. That's what I do as well.
Yeah, but that kind of backfired like this. Is fuckers not giving me unsubscribe.
We've seen a lot of emails, like people threatening us with lawsuit. People,
Yeah, that's the most recent one.
I have a very follow-up point when someone says, "Can you take me out of my email?" So what I do here is, I want to understand why is this not a good time. So I ask a question saying, "Okay, I understand you want me to take your email out of my fucking email machine, but I would like to know why. Is it because then I ask saying that, is this not a good time because it is the end of the financial year, or is it because this is not a priority right now?" So then they reply saying, "No, it's probably because XYZ." So you know that, okay, this is when I have to contact that person next. So any response, even a no as a response, I would say is a good response. Yes is always, I mean, देने वाला जब भी देता, you're making money, but no, you can turn it into a yes in the future is something
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, because I think we go after scale, we just let the no's go.
See, now that is, if you actually have automation for anyone who says a no, collate all those emails and just ask them why. Perhaps you can actually get 5% of them to come back.
Yeah, probably.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a good idea.
When someone says a no on a sales call or when you're on the market, for you to act on the no, you need to have a closed end status or a concrete next step. Why was it a no? Like he's trying to find out. Was it a wrong time? Am I being relevant also can be a good question to ask. Right? Some businesses might not find relevance in you at all.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I feel it's because I think why we didn't do it is mainly because of how full our pipeline was. It's because like imagine like a sales guy who was already having 5 to 6 calls or 7-8 calls in a day. He'll be like, okay, let the no guys go, right? Like I don't like. I'm already selling to 7-8 people.
This is when you throw more people at the problem.
Yeah.
Get a couple of college interns. Sorry, crash guys, I'm apologizing right now. You're the best for all of this. So get them and ask them to sit in this, type out emails and ask.
Yeah, but I mean, this is definitely something we could try.
Yeah, we should probably get an intern and ask them to call all the no people. Find out why is it a no?
Absolutely, this is something I learned from my first organization. Our budgets were tight, so rather than throwing people, we threw interns at the problem. So they deal with it. It was extremely manual. So,
yeah, I mean that's like a very amazing, advantage we have because of so many colleges.
we're in India, cheap labor, man.
Yeah.
I'm sure all of us, if we were in the US, our incomes would have been 5 to 6x easily. So now that we are here, we need to make use of our support.
Yeah, I mean, even though we have, there is a certain minimum pay in India.
Yeah,
but nobody follows it.
Of course not. That's the whole point. Fun fact: India also has a clause where, let's say, if you sign an agreement with an organization you're at now, saying that you cannot work in a similar organization next. I'm sure we have all.
Definitely, yeah.
From Unilever to Himalaya or whatever that he's worked in. It doesn't apply to India. You can sign the agreement, but it is not liable in the court of law.
Yeah.
So, I mean, people need to be aware of it, and I hope this exact thing radio shows in the blood. If you are not happy,
there are loopholes in the system.
Loopholes in the system.
Nice man. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of knowledge going around here.
This is a very interesting fact. Someone who's very diligent and who never wants to commit anything like a fraud or anything of that sort, he would be thinking 10 times to join another competitor.
Yeah. I mean,
what if I'm getting sued or
absolutely
puts me in trouble?
I mean, I feel that is, it's the knowledge, right? Like HRs and all don't tell stuff like that. Like even the normal employee contract, like you can say it from tomorrow, even though you have a notice period. You are not obliged to do that.
Yeah.
Like I can quit today because I'm not interested anymore. Okay, I can be like, I'm not serving my notice period. Give me my relieving papers. I'll go. If they don't give you relieving papers, you can sue them. Okay, it's not admissible in the court of law that the contract that you're signing is not a legal tender contract. But again, like they wouldn't say that, right? Like even when we are giving out contracts or hiring contracts to our employees, we don't say that all that.
Tarang is revealing our cards.
No, dude, like because this is one of the things which we made Chirag quit, right? Like we poached him from his previous organization, and he was very tense that he wanted he won't get papers. He'll he has a 1 month notice. We wanted him very fast and all of that.
I think as sales folks, you need to get over. At least I have gotten over my fears. And I think sales has only largely helped me. You are going to figure it out, man. Come on, just go for it. Like take that step and make it happen. And I think it'll work. And sales is kind of enabled that within me. I don't know if it's personally enabled you guys.
It has definitely.
It makes you take that step, you know. Go for it.
You don't
Imagine
give a fuck.
someone who's just like, yes, my next step. He sees his offer letter from Byju's.
Dissing Baizu.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is all about dissing Byju's.
Bro, Byju's is like, man, even the sales hiring.
Toxic sales culture is, most organizations have it, I'm not going to lie. And that's something in the future that I would like to change. It's outcomes over everything rather than generating numbers. How many calls did you make? How many emails? That should not matter. It should be your direct outcome that you should be measured on.
Yeah, that's
Because
true.
You can make 1,000 calls and get 10 meetings. You can do the same with 20. I'm just an example. So it's not about the numbers, right? It's like being a difference between a donkey and a horse. So you need to reach the destination as fast as possible. That's what is generating revenue. And as salespeople, we need to get out of the mindset, especially traditional sales organizations. I'm sure you would have faced a lot of this.
Even now, a lot of micromanagement happens.
Then again,
How many calls you made?
How many people have you spoken to? Why are we not moving in this category? So I think we should not look at sheer numbers. If you look at sheer numbers, you're not enabling the person. Firstly, his skill sets are not going to improve. He's not going to make himself any better to have a detailed conversation which will lead to a closure. If you push him to do more calls, he's going to do the same call again for another 500 people.
Yeah, it's just going to be
With no intent to close also.
Yes.
Because you're asking him to just call.
yes.
Yeah, he'll be like, I want to meet my call numbers.
So I've been on the receiving end
Also,
of it.
people can spoof it also. Like, I've done that, dude. Like, like, you had come over there, like my previous organization, they had given me a list of people, and then you call them, try to upsell them. These are already paying customers. So I did like some 5 calls. I made him do some 2 calls. Rest everything, the data was spoofed.
Exactly.
I
I'll
just
tell you
gave
one of
some
my
fancy
experiences.
charts and all that.
There's this tool. I forgot the name of it. We can once I Google it, I'll find it out. So what it does is, this is for the US. So you input 100 numbers, and it'll run through a dialer. It'll call 100 numbers at the same time, and give you the ones that pick up. Because in the US, if you especially calling from India, it's like they don't pick up. You can make 100 dials, no one picks up. It's such a waste of time. This does 100 dials for you. One that picks up, you get it.
Crazy.
And they're like, hi, this is Tarang from Onboard. So,
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
To add to that, you can also use something called as Air AI to even add one more layer to this. So, hey, I'm Julie. I'm Gaurav's assistant. Are you available for a quick call now? And then transfer.
Absolutely.
That'll
Dude, AI is doing like thousands of calls in like at the same time. Like, like basically, it tells itself as AI. I am Gaurav's AI assistant. I've called in to check if you're available for a quick.
That's wild. I definitely would talk to someone called Julie. Doesn't matter if it's AI or not.
Yeah, right.
But a human element needs to happen in order to close.
Yeah, that is true. In closing, definitely, like I wouldn't trust my, someone unless I see them face to face, right?
I'm not against AI or tools.
I'm saying top of the funnel can definitely simplify stuff.
Yes.
top of the funnel has to be automated.
The whole foot in the door. That's it. The rest is all on
Yeah.
humans to figure it out.
Cool. We've talked about a lot of sales stuff, and I think now it's like time for us to go get some booze and like close this.
I will pretending to drink only water for this while.
Yeah, see, we don't have normal glasses, dude. We only have whiskey glasses.
Yeah, this is not gin, it's mocktail. This is water.
So, yeah, it was nice talking to all of you guys, and I'm sure we'll
Thanks
keep
for having
talking.
Likewise, I wish
Uh,
success for growth on board
Thank you.
and for Prasanth as well. Looking forward to
Yeah.
getting drunk.
I would want more podcasts, more interesting, more detailed talks.
Yeah, there is
I
one
need a naked podcast.
that I don't know whether YouTube will allow.
This is specifically for Pornhub. I'm sure it's going to sell.
And we'll have a Discord channel for that.
What we are planning
We'll build a community around
the
it.
10th podcast will be a drunk podcast.
That's amazing.
So
Yeah,
the
dude.
9th sober one, 10th
So, and usually I would want to have a fight, like, where, like a debate session on AI and not AI. Like, there's a lot of people who.
I am not AI.
You're not AI.
Top of the funnel only. After that, no.
No, I'm not
all
talking.
in for AI.
So he's all in for it.
Even if it is dating.
See, I don't know about that, but again, everybody has their.
Simple. If someone else can do it, if something else can do it, let them do it.
No, but I want to do it.
You do it.
I don't want to be I don't want to be a cuckold salesman.
No. It's just hitting your ego.
I get it.
It is probably. That's what.
The thing is, I get the rush when someone. I'm sure that's the same rush you get when you've automated and someone you don't even have to speak to someone at all, right? So I understand where you're coming from. But for me, I have my own rush when someone's like, yes, let's sign the papers, or yes, I'm okay to coming on a call. So for me, that's the human layer I believe in.
No, that is not the debate which I was talking about. Mainly, the debate is like it will be mainly with people who are saying or against AI. Like they're like, hey, I will take over the world, stuff like that. And like people who are like pro AI, who are willing to explore.
That's Will Smith from iRobot.
Yeah.
AI out of your fucking mouth.
Yeah. So
But I think we should do it. Like I would be against AI. I
see, that's what.
stand by Gaurav.
That's what. Yeah.
I stand by Gaurav. I would be against AI.
I would be pro AI.
There you go.
So everyone has a.
I'm the middle ground here because I want this both.
Cool. Nice talking to you guys. Then thank you guys for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. Anything else I missed? No, right? Yeah. Thank you.